Hello everyone. As you just read, this tutorial is not so much a tutorial but more of an experimental or a playful activity. Some of the tutorials coming up or some of the Friday activities coming up will be more like this. They'll be more the idea of expanding or broadening your experience of drawing, since we've spent so much time this semester focusing on basic skills. The topic here is automatic drawing. This idea comes from a group of artists who were active in the 1920s and 30s called the Surrealists, mostly in Europe but also in the United States and Mexico. These artists were interested in tapping into the subconscious and approaching art in ways that it had never been approached before. And automatic drawing was a technique they used to try and get out of typical ways of working. With automatic drawing, some kind of chance activity or found texture or random drawing is used as a starting point for an artwork. So we see on the left here Andre Massen's automatic drawing. He may have been closing his eyes, even walking, just doing something where he just randomly created these scribbles with the gesture of his hand. And then you can see that after that random gesture, he went back and added some sort of forms and added these sort of hands or what looked like eyes maybe to make this into a blob made of different figures or creatures. On the right here, we have Max Ernst using a rubbing, so similar to something you might have done in kindergarten or grade school with a leaf. He found some kind of texture, maybe on the road or some rocks, and created these different patterns, and then came back and made it into this odd fish-like creature. Here we have a painting by Juan Moreau, and this is based on, again, this automatic process, drawing random forms, basically like doodling, and then this larger painting is built upon those forms. Another example, whoops, let me go back to that slide. Another example of the same process, random process that is then formed into something that has some recognizable qualities. Another similar drawing process sort of game is called the Exquisite Corpse. This is something that you may have also done in school as a kid, basically where you are building some sort of character or person out of multiple parts, where you have a head, you have a body, and then you have legs or feet, and those different things stack up on top of each other. I'm not sure if you know what I'm talking about. I had a little video game that you could like spin this wheel, and the different head, body, and feet of this robot would come together. Anyway, with this process, it's a kind of like a group or a team game where you would work with a couple people, and one person would start drawing the creature, and then the other people have to finish it. So it's a little bit different than automatic drawing. But in this, in a similar manner, it preconceived notion of what you might finish with once you start a drawing, or it takes you out of what you would typically do on your own. You're forced to deal with something that someone else started. So it's within the same realm of trying to move you away from the familiar and the everyday into another realm. What I'm looking for from your drawing is to start with some kind of automatic process. If you look below, I have two GIFs that I made really quickly of me spilling some ink on a piece of paper, and the second one is just me making a scribble on a piece of paper with my eyes closed. You could also find something to like do that rubbing, so you find a texture. You could do some sort of very rudimentary print. You take some ink or charcoal on something and smush it onto your paper. Just do something that gives you a set of marks that you are not intentionally creating. And then really spend the rest of the time. So spend about an hour just playing with that, adding to it, doodling with it, building it into a larger drawing. And if an hour is too much to work on this one drawing, you just feel like you're overworking it. Why don't do two of them? You could do two different automatic things to begin, and then you could do finish each one. If you think that I think if 20 or 30 minutes makes more sense for this activity versus an hour. But that's really up to you. Think of this as a more kind of exploratory, experimental activity. It doesn't really matter what yours look like. What yours looks like. I'm more interested that you just sincerely engage with the process, and hopefully you will discover something or come upon something that's unexpected. All right. Good luck, and I will see you all on Monday.